Fucking a UVTV motherfucker. I'm gonna kick spiritual ass and do this for my people. On God. Neon nigga for feathering me in. Today I'm gonna be talking about to be spiritual is to be otherworldly, sharing your world view and making it a part of existence. So being spiritual just means being creative or you being productive and you understanding your state of awareness and your state of being. And then your individual state of being is just your soul. Your soul is just your individual space. Spirituality is just the actuality of all these different spaces together. So you taking your individualistic space, like you as an individual, you having your own mind. And I'm not trying to say the spirit is the mind because it's not that. It's just the state of being that you in. So it's just your observation. So based upon what you're observing, based upon your experiences, you observe thoughts and feelings, right? But it's when you turn it into a shaping form, your light body, a thought and feeling, your mind, a psyche, your subconscious, and making it conscious, making it the flesh, making it materialize, and it being the representation of the external world. So based upon the spirit being incorporeal, is immaterialized. So it's just the state of being of the essence or the substance, the subconscious standing of what it is. It's just the essence of what that is. And based upon the essence, it's going to have that scent in the spiritual realm, right? And it's either going to be a perfume or an odor slash a stench. And based upon that particular stench or that particular smell in the spiritual realm and stuff like that, is going to build that aura or is going to build that um basically, yeah, it's gonna build that aura of how it get displayed. And if you hold on to too many things in that spiritual space, that's when it starts to turn to an odor. But if you know how to make your space more clear, that's when your odor has a more fresh smell for the most part. And essence is based upon, yeah, it's based upon a scent like a perfume or like an odor, or scent like spiritual currency. So based upon that spiritual currency is going to turn to actual liquid fluid and money and stuff like that. So is you being able to be current when it comes to things that are flowing and things that are going on, being like free flowing, having free will and stuff like that. So if you stay in that pocket of what's currently going on, of you understanding who you are, even if there's a lot of things going on externally and stuff like that, it means you're able to ride the wave, basically. You know what I'm saying? You're able to stay inside the boat instead of you falling over the boat and stuff like that. That's like you crashing out or you getting overwhelmed by the waters that you're trying to ride type shit, if I want to turn that into an allegory. So based upon, yeah, the spirit is like your space. So it's like your spaceship and you just flying around. Your individualistic your individual uh spaceship. So from you having your own space, it's like you having your own orb or your own world. And the atmosphere is just a world at most. So it's displaying the purest form of how your world is if someone were to be inside your space, be inside your bubble. So the same way how there's space between me and you, and I have my own mind and you have your own mind, that's the simplest way to make it make sense. So from me being a person and me having a personality is just an actuality of me understanding my piece of the sun. That's why it's a person. You know what I'm saying? It's my piece of the sun. It's like an animism. And from you looking at it as an animism, it don't matter if it's immaterialized or it's actually materialized. It don't matter if it's terrestrial or it's extraterrestrial. It don't matter if it's commonly Norman. Commonly normalities and stuff like that, or if it's paranormal, right? It's still a part of existence. It's just the supernatural or the lightest shape and form of what that is your spirit. And that's all the supernatural is talking about. It being superbly natural of you understanding the essence of this overall space or what your spirit is doing. So it's like a space within a space type shit. What your spirit is doing, and then spirituality is just what all of our different spaces is doing together. And we make the world, and that's just the universe, all of existence, or what y'all like to call God. Not God as in like a deity, because once y'all start to deify something, you're just getting lost to one specific person's world, one specific person's thought forms and stuff like that, one specific person's perspective and how they see the world and how they view things, and you getting lost into their nutsack instead of you being on your own dick, and then that's it. So to be otherworldly, you have to be not of this world, but you already are naturally doing that because you have your own mind, because no one is going to be able to have your point of view or able to be you as an individual. Otherwise, you wouldn't be alive right now. You wouldn't be in existence at this moment. You being a spirit in a body and a human vessel and stuff like that. You had your own particular way of how you go about it. So we already know what we doing. We're trying to broaden our horizons type shit. So from us broadening our spirit and expanding that space, we're going to end up broadening our mind, and it's going to end up broadening our organs to have different functions and motivations to keep that going, to keep us alive. And then we gonna end up building and creating the external world based upon um, us having that motivation, based upon us having that blood pumping adrenaline and veins and blood flow, life force and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Because we're an organism and we have a whole bunch of different awarenesses, or look at that as a whole bunch of different brains or a whole bunch of different organs. And we're gonna try to have some type of organization when it comes to our organs so they can work properly and not go through organ failure and stuff like that. And those are some of the first seeds that leads to things when you get older and stuff like that, of having organ failure, because you're not taking care of your well-being spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. Then it leads into the physical. So that's why a lot of time it be stemming from trauma, or be stemming from what you holding on to and stuff like that. That's why it's good to not have that esoteric blood in your hands, and you know how to wash yourself clean, and you know how to have that clear space, so you don't you don't be having the rose colored glasses, or you don't get lost into the light, because too much light leads to you being blinded. And from you being blinded, you end up you know what I'm saying? You end up getting easily distracted, easily lost into a dichotomy, easily procrastinated, or easily enticed by the lookership of how posting. I mean, yeah, the lookership of something, of how you think something supposed to look, but really you just getting witchcraft being played on you. And witchcraft is just bitchcraft. Witchcraft is just a female. I mean, a witch is just a female sorceress, and look at a female like an emotion and feeling, or a container, or like a womb. So you're just being overly indulging or invested into a specific emotion and feeling based upon someone trying to craft reality out of that. So based upon you getting overly enticed by a whole bunch of monetary, temporary type of things and stuff like that, you make it harder for you to put yourself first, put yourself in the forefront, and try to produce something more. So it's going to make you more spiritually lazy, and you can't put yourself in a different pocket, and it's going to end up making you more depressed because you're holding on to too much. You get what I'm saying? So from you holding on to too much, is going to make your spirit very dull, or very stiff, or very frozen, or very stuck, having like a stick up your ass type of mentality and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? To where you can't be free flowing, and you can't utilize your free will, because you're getting lost into a particular ego, or a particular expression, or a particular bias. And once you exaggerate that, it leads to stuff like mental disorders, you being disorganized spiritually, or mental illness. So you're getting enticed by things that are harmful to you. That's why you're mentally disorganized and mentally deteriorating. So you're paying attention to too many things that are deadly, or descending. So things that are too harmful towards your spirit. It's things that are too harmful for you. And then we just have a whole bunch of things in the physical world that add on to it. But you wouldn't even be in that state of being, or you want to be so enticed based upon the external examples, like motherfuckers who end up being like crack addicts and all that type of stuff. Like, we have different things in reality to where we see how a motherfucker end up being mentally deranged and stuff like that. But spiritually, they already was in that state of being. It's just based upon them getting lost into a certain dichotomy of what we see in the external world, of the different examples of how people can get lost into addiction, how people can get lost into suicidal thoughts, how people can lead to depression and stuff like that. They was already on their way. They already trying to spiritually evaporate themselves, so they can't find no meaning and reason and purpose to live, because they think based upon the external, monetary, temporary versions of what it means to be alive, instead of finding something inside of them, and that's the reason they want to be alive, and they end up charging their own spark. So once you start to charge your own spark, it don't matter what's happening externally. You doing it because you like to do it, regardless of the validation, regardless of the expectation, regardless of the anticipation of what you think something is or how it should go. You gonna just pivot and go with the ride, and know how to be mutable, adaptable, changeable, and adjustable, just like a mutable sign and stuff like that. You're able to be open towards certain things, even if you don't know everything that's going on, but you're willing to go through the experience to try to go the distance with it, and so forth. But the original starting point is, yeah, being otherworldly just means not of this world. So if it's not of this world, I'm just talking about like the physical. I'm just talking about things of the earth. And earth is just the accumulation of fire, water, and air. You know what I'm saying? So if you're doing something that's otherworldly, is you doing it from your own space, or you doing things from your own observations, experiences, and your own perspective. So you're creating a worldview, you're creating an atmosphere, you're creating an essence that people can be a part of. Look at that as you having your own subjective POV. And that's not of this world because you're the only person who has those individualistic traits. You're the only person with that character. You're the only person with that charisma. You're the only person who can act in that particular way because you're you. So that's not of this world. And if you're able to take things not of this world and make it a part of the overall world and stuff like that, that's when it, you know what I'm saying? That's spirituality and stuff like that. So you're able to have your own intellectual property. You're able to have your own sentiment. You're able to have your own esoteric testimony. You're able to have your own space. You're able to have your own atmosphere. You're able to have your own world that people can be a part of. So you actually utilize your extraterrestrial, supernatural, or paranormal abilities. So taking something beyond just the earthly plane, right? And you able to act more divine nature like or heavenly. And heaven is just the abode of God or the home of God. God is just all possibilities, all of creation, all of existence, the overall state of being, aka the universe. And it's the home of the potential of something. So it's like that's you when you get grace and you like personalize something. So it's kind of like you having the potential to act out certain characteristics and you being a creator or you being like God, so to speak. Not you trying to be all possibilities, but you trying to actualize your potential and you trying to be creative and you trying to make your imagination be seen and actualized. And once you make it actualized, try to go the distance with it, that's when you fall from grace. Because a lot of this stuff being reversed when it comes to the spiritual realm type shit. So it's kind of like that's you falling from grace or you going through a same way how with the seasons when during fall and wintertime, so the leaves start to die out and deteriorate and stuff like that and change colors. And then during the wintertime when things start to become cold, dead, and distant and frozen and inactive and things stop, it's when you fall from grace. You took something from the spring and summertime, things start to get warm, you germinated seeds, you springing something off, you pollinating, you flowering, you blooming, all these different seeds, aka thoughts and feelings or ideas that you actually want to actualize, and you start to heat them up, warm them up, nurture them, take care of them to where they actually get actualized, to where motherfuckers can feel the heat. They actually see the attention span, they can see the expression. And then it's going to go through its fall and wintertime stage when things start to cool down and then become frozen cold, and it gets frozen cold, solidified, stopped, snowed in, tundra, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? To where is it ends up becoming cold, dead, distant, and inactive because you took it the farthest it was able to go. So it went through its spring, summer, fall, winter, birth, life, death, expiration. So from it going through that expiration, now you have to try to revitalize it or revive it or birth it again, or it going through its springtime cycle. You know what I'm saying? Like all over again to keep it everlasting and to keep it going or come up with something new. So that's when it comes to, yeah, that's just explaining the whole entire process and mechanism when it comes to manifesting and materializing. Manifesting just means festering the men and women, the thoughts and feelings, the atoms and eves, attention span, and attractiveness. So yeah, from you making that attention span and attractiveness or drawing people towards it is you making a pocket of you trying to fulfill a cup, and then once that cup get drained and get sponged, or you end up soaking up the game from what is providing, just like the men do, they like to provide. The women are going to try to maintain what's being provided and take it for what it is and absorb it until it ends up running dry, and then now you have to fulfill the container with something else. So being earthly, physical, or trying to materialize something, it just means actualizing the potential, right? So that's materializing, and manifesting just means you trying to see the potential with something, but you didn't actually actualize it yet. You're trying to fester with those thoughts and feelings, those thoughts and ideas, feelings and emotions, and try to make them into a shape and form to where they can actually get materialized and get solidified, substantiated to make it look legit. So it's you taking something that's otherworldly, and that's really just you understanding your own world and making it a part of the overall world. And now people can study it and try to understand where the fuck that come from. And that look like that's something out of this world, but it's just you taking something that was make believe and you made a motherfucker believe in it. Because in general, you just showing from you having that belief in yourself, people are gonna look at that as inspiring to make them want to believe in themselves because that's what your state of being is lying in, because that's all a belief is. It's just an extension of what your state of being is already doing. So if you're trying to put all your trust and your faith and beliefs based upon your own intuition, your own abilities, your own talents, your own skill sets, your own capabilities, and stuff like that. I think I said capabilities twice, but y'all get what I'm trying to say. Is just you utilizing your own state of being of your own self belief, and you make a motherfuckers believe in your own capabilities, your own talents that you can naturally produce, and you naturally have experience or you're naturally observing, and you have your own unique pocket and perspective that people can get enticed by, because once you understand your pure state of being and stuff like that, it's gonna come off like it's nothing. It's gonna come off like it's effortless, just like the spirit.